Welcome back to our discussion, How Technology Can Rev Up Federal Talent and Skill Development, sponsored by IBM here on Federal News Network. My guest today is Emily Craig. She's a partner for talent and transformation at IBM US Federal, and I'm your moderator, Tom Temin. And let's talk about some of the enabling technologies that can help agencies find the technology people or develop the skills and do the workforce planning they need. We talked about artificial intelligence. Maybe delve into that a little bit more and what some of the other types of tools that agencies can have to carry out this modern and updated HR strategy.
Sure. So AI is absolutely top of the list, in so many ways. There's the example I think that most people are familiar with, and that's interacting with a virtual agent or a chatbot that's able to give you intelligent responses and answer questions and learns right from the Q&A that you're having with it. That's so important because it's really a force multiplier with your workforce, and the type of support services that you can provide to people and to be able to answer questions, when a human being is not available. The other enabler that's absolutely essential there is cloud technology. So getting away from on-prem, traditionally siloed systems where it's really difficult to bring data together, and moving that to the cloud. Because the cloud opens up the flexibility, it opens up the scalability, and it makes it possible for these intelligent agents to work across these disparate systems and to harmonize. We talked briefly about structured and unstructured data, right? So think about structured data is the insight that you have into your workforce in the HR system, but the unstructured data are all the forms and memos and things like that. And to be able to marry that up and really have that insight across all of these different data fields and to be able to do it at scale to generate workforce insights. So those are absolutely essential. And coming right in close third, I would say is analytics, right? So how do you have the right set of tools? Do you have the ability and do you have the organizational maturity to really understand and make decisions, trusting in the data that you've analyzed? And that's an important piece as well.
And many agencies are looking and trying to hire and are hiring chief data officers and staffs that support them. In many
Yep.
ways, it seems like one of the top jobs of a data officer is to create data literacy across the programs so people can know what the data officer can do for them.
That's right. That's right. Well, and think about, what OPM strategy has been around data science, right? Instead of standing up a whole new classification structure, right? It's how do you add data science into the GS classification structure and make it part of so many other jobs? That's another way it shows how important, analytics and data science is across the board in federal jobs.
So you can use data science and data analytics to analyze workforce needs, workforce development requirements, and planning too then. Is that correct?
That's right. That's right. And to link to the mission. So think about strategy documents, think about policy documents, think about those things that the agency is charged to carry out and understanding what skills are necessary to deliver that mission and then link the workforce to those skills.
Now, IBM, I understand, does hiring practices and strategies on behalf of organizations, federal agencies, and large corporations. And you're not a manpower, you're not that type of staffing agency, but you do that function. What do you find are the biggest challenges that you come in and find when you work with an organization?
So it can be twofold. Part of it may depend on what their current technology footprint is. There's a lot of different kinds of technology from an applicant tracking system that manages the recruiting and the hiring piece all the way through to onboarding, and how big a jump we're helping them make from what their current approach is to that modern cloud-based AI-enabled approach. And then it can also be that managed services change. So it's absolutely essential, right, that the employees of the company or the agency, like they're the ones that are making those decisions, right? But how we support them and getting used to working in a different model, maybe with some different business processes, like that's a huge amount of stakeholder and change management to help people work in a new way and learn and to see what the benefits are with
It
that.
sounds like maybe there's a case to be made for a little bit of reform in how the government looks at the workforce writ large, because in many ways it has a 50s or 40s look as if there were lots of typists and lots of clerks and lots of filing types of people, when really, as you say, people are on a matrix of technologies and analytical types of jobs where much of the function that used to be done by all those low-level GS types of people have been largely automated.
So true. And the supporting evidence for that argument is look at how many different hiring authorities the government has established, just in the last several years. Trying a prototype system for cybersecurity personnel, the Schedule A through this most recently announced Schedule F, exceptions to the GS personnel system. I think a fabulous, audacious goal for the incoming administration was to give themselves a year to reform the system. It's a massive undertaking, but there's so much information. If you look at all the different position descriptions, all the personnel structures, and the data that they have about the people who are doing those different jobs, and the data that they have, it's a great use case for artificial intelligence. To go in, to work with all that data, to look at the competencies and skill structure that's been built across multiple industries, and to come up with a new revised structure that gives the flexibility to the agencies to meet their hiring needs while preserving those really important principles of comparability and consistency across agencies.
All right, lots to think about and some good advice from our guest today is Emily Craig. She's a partner for talent and transformation at IBM US Federal. Great having you on.
Thanks so much. It's been a pleasure talking with you.
And I'm your moderator, Tom Temin. You've been listening to Federal News Network. For more on this discussion, visit federalnewsnetwork.com and search Career Guide.